A long time ago, in a faraway land, there was a man who prayed for peace, but was given a curse. One night, the man slept in a cave to avoid a harsh storm. In the cave, he found his way to a glowing red mask in the dark. He had heard of the rumors of a mask that gave those who wore it peace. Putting on the mask turned the man's eyes black and his black hair red. The air around him sweltered with the heat of his rage, and slowly, Oni became devoid of emotion. Oni gained bloodlust, which sent him on a great crusade throughout neighboring countries. With a sword held in his hand, Oni carved a path of destruction. The night skies became clouded with smoke as the towns burned hot with fire. No one was safe around his wrath. Children cried for their now deceased parents. Homes lay in ashes and heaps. Women cried for their husbands, who stood before him and against him. All that was left were corpses, death, and despair. There seemed to be no end to Oni's madness and rage. Every night after his raids, Oni would drink the blood of victims, thinking that the liquid would send him into a drunken stupor, a stupor that would alleviate his pain. Rivers of the red liquid would fill his throat, but the intoxication would not last long. Oni would sadly awake in the morning and begin his binge again. Oni grew tired of his campaign and the endless bodies left behind. He foolishly thought that his war on the world would bring him peace. It did not. After what the wearer had done, he decided to turn the blade on himself, thinking death would be better than the guilt and shame he now felt. His last prayer was,
Gods of the universe, I go now to join my fellow demons in the underworld. May my misery and pain now be put to an end.
Before he could finish his deed, a man clothed in white, with skin that resembled lightning, appeared with pierced hands and feet. The man's presence alone was overwhelming, so much so that the grass parted ways to Oni. With a voice of thunder, the figure spoke.
There are no gods, but one, existing as three in perfect unity. I am he who was and is to come. What are you doing? Why do you wear that mask? Do you know who you really are?
The presence of this god kept Oni weak on his knees. Without hesitation, Oni felt compelled to speak.
I was sad, so I took the lives of loved ones.
Oni replied.
I was angry, so I broke down the doors of cities. I am alone, so I took the lives of others. Why?
The man in white asked.
I am in pain.
As tears ran down his face, Oni continued.
My loved one had no love for me, so she rested in the arms of another. My family saw opportunity elsewhere, so they left me here to sojourn alone. My home had been lost, and the basic bread that was supposed to be mine can only be found in the dust. Without these things, Lord, I do not know who I am.
In a fit of rage, Oni rose to his feet, yelled.
Away from me!
Walking away, he shouted.
Leave me! My hands are drenched in blood, hands stained with sin. I am Oni. You cannot save me or heal my pain. I will figure this out on my own.
The man in white pulled the man back to him, flooding his body with divine power. As his grace entered Oni's body, the foul entity that possessed him began to lose its hold. Oni's physique changed from that of a bulging ogre to a young man. His red hair began to turn black, and Oni's eyes began to brim with life again. As Oni's mind began to clear, the man in white began to speak.
I can, and I will,
exclaimed the man in white.
You think you are beyond saving. You are not. You are not the first one to fall to the cravings of bloodlust. You are not the first to hide your pain behind a demon spawned mask. I have healed and delivered others. I will heal and deliver you. What about the damage that I have caused?
Responded Oni.
The bloodshed. The lives you took cannot be replaced,
Answered the man in white.
but those who remain can be comforted. The cities torn down will not have their old splendor, but homes will be rebuilt, and the sadness you feel can be filled with my joy. Where you once served yourself, you will now serve me and others. Everything will not go the way you want, but you will always have me and your new identity. You no longer will be a monster, but a man. But what will my new name be?
The man asked.
It will be Son.
The man in white answered. After hearing those words, the man took the mask that was strapped to his side and threw it down to the ground. The once powerful mask now lay in pieces on the ground. The man whose name is not yet known looked up and said,
I am Oni no more.